Dr. Subramanian Swamy, as also, of course, the lead lawyer in this particular case, who joins our broadcast. I want to first begin with you. Vikas Singh is also here, of course, Dr. Swamy. Now, Dr. Swamy, you have been talking about foul play, and, many people, and I've seen it. Many people have been saying, oh, that Dr. Swamy has jumped into yet another case to muddy waters, etc., etc. That Times now, is giving a podium to individuals who have no locus standi. They're just troublemakers. That Times now itself is depending on fake news. And we've been buying into your point of view, which has been very interestingly explained. Now, I want you to tell me, a diary like this, ripped to shreds, pages, yes. Final entries gone. What does this tell you, sir?
Well, first of all, I must say, if there was a prize for expose by the media, as we have in the United States, you should get it. I mean, you have essentially destroyed the suicide theory completely. Second is this diary could be compared to Nixon's tapes and the missing pages to what he deleted. So, I mean, I think now we can see very clearly that this case is going to end up in conviction of a lot of people. And I think it's a tremendous find, whoever your staff.
That's Priyank Tripathi, deserves all the credit. He has been pursuing this lead. So,
yeah.
Yes.
I have this problem, of course, as you say, every time I start a 2G spectrum also, they said the same thing. National Herald also said the same thing. There's nothing I start where people don't try to discourage me by saying all kinds of awful things. But the fact is that you stood by me and you had taken a number of my interviews, and now you yourself have got ahead. I mean, now I can relax with people like you in the field. I think we'll take it to finally to a conclusion, and Bombay Police has come out with a lot of mud on their face. It requires a major overhaul. And those politicians who have been behind this cover-up, they should be exposed. And ultimately, we must create an environment by which Bollywood itself should undergo major reforms.
Absolutely, Dr. Swamy, absolutely. And I want you, Priyank Tripathi is here with us. Priyank, now, this is not easy. I know that you got, indications of the existence of this diary. Now, we don't want to divulge. Vikas Singh is also here with us, our sources, etc., etc. But you've read through the diary, and I don't want you to tell us what the diary says, because, that's a matter between Sushant Singh Rajput and the diary itself, which speaks for him today after he is no longer with us. But quite clearly, those people who are looking through the diary have told you that certain names have been named, and that those suddenly after a point, the pages have been ripped out. So this is a sinister turn of events, isn't it?
Yes, certainly. Yeah, certainly, Rahul. This diary, these crucial pages could have been anything. In this last moment, what we have seen in my career, that people who find whatever page or whatever thing right in front of them, like some of them have also written on the wall, because in the last moment of their life, when the person is about to die, whatever thing is right in front of them, they use that, and that particular piece of paper, wall, or any paper sheet or bed sheet could have been the writing pad for that individual to leave a note that what had happened to him or what has happened to that particular individual. But here you have 3 pages and more than 3 to 4 pages which were torn, and that was a diary which was lying right next to Sushant Singh Rajput, which is very crucial piece of evidence which has been destroyed. What we know that on the bed where Sushant's body was found, the height of the ceiling was equal to Sushant's body. In fact, the fan which was on the top of the bed was also not in the middle of the bed, it was towards the end of the bed. If anyone slides towards the end of the bed, then that particular individual can commit suicide. What experts say in this particular case, because I was talking talking to various other doctors who have been looking into very important cases of these kind of unnatural death. They say that that would be partial hanging. So that was the thing which suddenly raised an alarm. And the moment I saw this diary, we had to bring it before the people, for our viewers to see that how the investigation was botched up at the initial stage. Now, hopefully, CBI officials have taken over the case and they will come up with their own forensic expert. But fact of the matter is that these three crucial pages, which could have been used from both the sides, so we can say that around 6 pages were missing from this diary, which were the initial portion of the diary. The diary was found right next to the body of Sushant Singh Rajput, where he would have actually written that what happened in between. And what happened after that, we have been bringing for the viewers that how people came, they delayed this, the body was taken here, someone waited for the sister, they could not open the lock. So these are the kind of theories which is based on the testimony where individuals are giving their statement before the police officials, and that can be tested during the lie detector test, that whether they were lying.
Circle viewers, all the inner circle will now have to be called and questioned. And who are these inner circles? And I'm going to bring in Vikas Singh. Vikas Singh, Dr. Swami, stay on with me, please. Bear with me.
Yeah.
Vikas Singh, I need to ask you, Siddharth Pithani, close friend and associate, Dipesh Sawant, Neeraj Singh, cook, Keshav Bakner, second cook, all these chaps were there when the body was brought down. This particular disclosure now changes many things, doesn't it? Including your own, the way you're going to structure your own case. Vikas Singh.
Rahul, I must tell you something very interesting. When the family met me in the middle of July, they wanted to discuss that this case is going in a very wrong direction, and they were very, very, upset the way Mumbai Police was handling this matter. Now, the way things have happened in this country, I personally feel that every time you lose a loved one, you can't just depend on the police. You probably must have your own, CID or some private detective agency to simultaneously do things, and that is the only way you can probably get to the truth. So when I told the family that I personally, because I had been seeing in the social media all kinds of reports coming in, so I said, why don't you think it is murder? I also felt that it would be murder. So the family said, we can't go on our own because none of us were there. There was only one sister in Mumbai. Yeah. She also reached the house after the body was already lowered. So they said, whatever we have been told so far, we have to go by that. We can't, straight away jump to a conclusion for murder. Although Dr. Swami had been saying murder from the beginning, and I must congratulate him for that. But what you have revealed today in the channel, I mean, this is something very basic which the inquest is supposed to do. When you do a 174 inquest, you have to see who opened the door. I mean, it's a very, very crucial thing. I've been saying in all these channels for the last, since the FIR has been registered, that inquest is the most important part of inquest is who opened the door. Now, if your channel just now told that the person who opened the door was not allowed to see what is inside and was shown the door before these chaps opened the door, that itself proves beyond doubt that this is a case of murder. I hope that fellow will stand testimony and confirm this. Now, what has the Mumbai Police been doing? If the family was dependent entirely on whatever Mumbai Police was doing, the facts that they had of how Ria came into the life and how she took over everything and how she, created rift in the family members between Sushant and the other family members. The father didn't allow him to talk to the father, etc. So the only conclusion that we could draw of what we knew at that point of time was that it is an abetment to suicide. But clearly, Rahul, it is more than that. It can't be abetment to suicide.
Vikas Singh says more than abetment to suicide, more than suicide. Big breaking news. Dr. Swami said it first, that the suicide theory has been completely blown out.
The kind of information.
Yes, Vikas Singh. Yes, there is obviously something here.
The kind of information, Rahul, that you have shown today
doesn't add up.
It's really, really baffling. I mean, these are things which the Mumbai Police should have put out in the public domain.
Desecration, viewers, diary desecration. Why are papers been ripped out? Why are papers been ripped out? The other channels
and diary
across media have been in denial. They have been funneling through their trolls, their paid trolls, and attack on Times Now's sensational style of journalism. Well, today, the channel that hits the ground, that does the hard lifting, exposes the story. Wake up.
Yes.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, everybody, wake up. Don't become apologists for an entire clique in Bollywood. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't become apologists for nepotists. That's the basic question here. Who is covering up? Who are the big players? Who is the one that was scared of getting exposed? Dr. Swamy, I want to come to you very quickly because, you know,
Yes.
at this moment, you're happy. You're happy, but this is a very sad reflection on the powerful forces that are trying to completely turn this into a suicide. We exposed at 6 o'clock and at 7 o'clock call data records that showed that directors, just hours before the untimely death, the unnatural, untimely, perhaps even suspicious death of Sushant Singh Rajput, were talking to Sushant Singh Rajput, wanting to sign him up for the biggest banner movies. This was not a rejected star. This was not some sidey player who had been completely ostracized from Bollywood. There are obviously people who were nervous of his rise and they wanted to shut him down. And the time has come to bring out those individuals, strip them.
Well, let me add to what you just said. Two things. One is that there was also a son of another minister, and a very senior one, and somehow his name doesn't figure anywhere here. I remember in any of the discussions, even on this social media, I'm a bit surprised at that. The second thing is there are a lot of whistleblowers in the Bombay Police because they see their police reputation being torn to shreds now. And so I think the CBI should encourage these whistleblowers to come out. And in fact, they should be promised a proper promotion if they really gave sound evidence. They're juniors, so they're too scared to come out when the senior himself was taking a side. So therefore, I think we have now, we're very close to reaching a situation where we can have a fast-track trial and convictions taking place.
Very important. Dr. Swamy says we are close now to that point. Very, very important. Yes, Mr. Vikas Singh, I just want us to play out this clip before I come back to you. Now, pay attention, Vikas Singh, to this clip because this clip holds it all together. Thank you, Dr. Swamy, for joining us. I want to make Vikas Singh listen to this. We're playing this clip again. Let's play it out. Yes.
नाही सर एक नाव आहे आणि नावाच्या नंतर पान ये नाम है काय नाही सर एक नाव आहे आणि नावाच्या नंतर पान ये नाम है काय
Mr. Vikas Singh, what do you make of that conversation? You've heard it. Tell us.
Well, this is actually very, very serious because even if he had committed suicide, probably there'll be some information, there'll be something about, naming somebody why he committed suicide. If there is a murder, probably that also will be reflected there because what is going on in his mind and why he's apprehending something to his life, etc. would be there. So either way, it would be very, very crucial what has happened. And Rahul, one more very interesting thing. All these film stars, whether it be Jia Khan, whether it be Parveen Babi, whether it be Sushant Singh Rajput, whether it be that other girl, Divyani, whatever, Tripathi, they all are, their postmortem is done by Cooper Hospital. Now, if you just Google Cooper Hospital, you will see that people have to say such rotten things of Cooper Hospital that you can buy anything from Cooper Hospital, you can get any kind of certificate you want. So I don't understand why the government has only nominated Cooper Hospital, or there is another hospital which was, because there is one Bhaba hospital which was very close to Sushant Singh's home, which is also a government hospital, which also does postmortem, which was only 5 minutes away, 1.6 kilometers away. They don't take the body there, they take it to Cooper Hospital only, which is their favorite hospital for all these film stars. and each film star is given a, even Disha Salyan, everybody is taken to Cooper Hospital. So I really, these are serious things which will have to be looked into.
Well, larger
and
issues.
actually the family is very, very disturbed how this whole thing has been handled by the police.
We are in a state of shock also.
Once CBI will take over, I'm sure they will look into all this as well as...
When Priyank Tripathi, Siddharth Poonawala also joins the broadcast. Priyank Tripathi, when he actually saw this, he was shocked because, the level to which... Thank you, Mr. Vikas Singh, for joining us, taking the time out. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
When Priyank saw all of this, he immediately called and he said, Rahul, you won't believe what I've just seen. I have to say that we have to exercise great caution, which we have done, of course, not to disclose any other details that are in that diary. Just stay on with me, Priyank. I want to bring in Siddharth Poonawala. Siddharth Poonawala, what does this tell you now?
Rahul, you had two of the best legal minds with you right now, and I wanted to actually send you a question that these details which you have exclusively accessed, Times Now has accessed, I congratulate you for it. These last pages of his diary could have very well been his dying declaration, and a dying declaration carries a preeminent position in evidentiary value. It is actually even used for convicting people. So very clearly you can even argue that this is a destruction not just of a diary, but the destruction of vital evidence, and therefore now you come to one conclusion clearly, that once is a happenstance, twice is a coincidence, but third time it is enemy action. Look at the series of events that have taken place. Mumbai Police, the manner in which they have acted in the Disha Salyan case, which you revealed, that how they went around with the autopsy 2 days late. Then they were trying to bury the links between Disha's death and Sushant's death. The manner in which Sushant's body has been handled and the entire scene of crime has been handled. And I'm calling it a scene of crime, I'm calling it an unnatural death. I'm not going by the Home Minister's version, that's a suicide. The resistance of the Home Minister to say that yes, we are open to a CBI inquiry. The manner in which Truth and Justice was quarantined along with the Patna police officers, whereby they took this action in the name of Corona to just ensure that the other angles don't come out. The delay in inquiring into the financial angles for which the ED had to then eventually step in. Rahul, I would have to tell you now that now more and more, and that Aditya Thackeray's letter, an apologetic letter, which he doesn't clarify about the party which is being spoken about, the CCTV footage issue is still not very clear, that whether the footage exists, doesn't exist, what has happened to it. So all of these questions now lead us to only one conclusion, that there is something very rotten in the state of Rome that is being tried to be hidden, and therefore there was a resistance towards the CBI probe.
Is
and
that
Rahul,
the reason?
I might tell you that you have done yeoman work in unearthing this.
Well. CBI blocked because maybe they would have stumbled upon this. No one wants the truth out, viewers. They all made Sushant Singh Rajput into a star that had been rejected by Bollywood because he was useless at what he was doing. He wasn't getting any offers. They said that he had cut himself off from the fraternity. He was running away. He was depressed. And therefore, there was all reason for him to commit suicide. Yet, we have a situation where the last few pages of his diary have been ripped out. Viewers. And even if they had been ripped out by Sushant Singh Rajput, you would have seen the pages. People didn't want the keymaker to go into his room. Why? Because something was being hidden? Someone wanted to get to that diary first? Wanted to make sure that they were not incriminated? And the Mumbai Police didn't tell us? And I want to ask the Shiv Sena chief here, G. Radhakrishnan, state president, Tamil Nadu of the Shiv Sena, because the Maharashtra Shiv Sena runs from Times Now. They run from us as if we have the plague. No, we have the questions. We have the direct questions that you don't want to take. So we have to do with Mr. Radhakrishnan, who is at least bold enough to stand in for his cowardly Mumbai colleagues. And I want to ask you, Mr. Radhakrishnan, today, is this why you were blocking the CBI probe? Because truth like this would have spilt out into the open, embarrassing you and your police force. Tell me. Tell me, sir.
Sir, Rahul, CBI is also a police investigation team. they have not come down from the heaven. See, the same police force, the Mumbai Police force was with you till 2019. You were the chief minister. BJP-led government was there. The same police force was there. Now you are accusing the same police force that they are a
My dear
party
friend,
and
Mr. Radhakrishnan, you first answer.
political
Why doesn't the
interference
Shiv
is the
Sena
difference.
Maharashtra unit come here and answer the questions? They send you like some scapegoat to be sacrificed at the altar of the hardest question. No, that's okay. Fine. I commend you, sir. At least you don't let the side down. And now the reaction that you are giving is completely weird. You're saying that, oh, this is evidence that is being collected by the Mumbai Police. What are they doing with it? They couldn't even file an FIR for evidence destruction. The Bihar Police has to do that. The Bihar Police has to do this. Can you believe it? I have two viewers with me. The Shiv Sena says, oh, you see, what you're getting is from the Mumbai Police, so the Mumbai Police is doing its job. Let me ask our viewers what they think before I bring in our other panelists here. Let me go across to Mr. Selva, who's calling in from Chennai. Mr. Selva, good evening. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Rahul. How are you?
I'm very well, sir. I'm so glad that you've joined us. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a clear-cut case of Thackeray's and the political establishment, ruling establishment, which is clearly, influencing the case.
Influencing the case.
Visible right from day one.
Mr. Selva joining us, saying our viewers, our loyal viewers are speaking and saying that there is something wrong, something very fishy about this. Look, we are not drawing any conclusions, viewers, but there are questions that need to be answered. I would have thought, relax, Mr. Radhakrishnan, relax, don't shout, calm down. Okay, let me bring in Nayan from Bhubaneswar. Yes, Nayan, go ahead with your views, sir. Good evening.
Mr. Rahul, I
Yes.
just want to ask you one question. Where were the other apologists who were saying in the last 3-4 days, no, it is all about jurisdiction. It's just about jurisdiction, nothing else. Can you please give me my answer?
Public sab janti hai. Viewers, public sab janti hai. They ask you the question. Now I want to put that question to Priyank Tripathi. All about jurisdiction. Priyank Tripathi, that is what being said. And you, through your exclusive news break, have shut them all down. Shut them all down. Explain. Priyank Tripathi, all about jurisdiction.
See, Rahul, it's all about having a case, pursuing a case with the preconceived notion that they were adamant on this point from the very first day, and till yesterday also, we saw that the DCP, CP and everyone from the Maharashtra state administration have been putting on this point that, oh my God, this is a case of a natural death. So we will pursue that. So whether they did not see this diary, why they deliberately ignored this crucial piece of evidence. I'm not a police officer, Rahul. I'm a crime reporter who have been covering crime stories, and literally we have been shadowing police officers, and that's how we learn from them that how they pursue a particular case. If I can, from my experience, after having a look at this particular crucial piece of evidence, can call my editor-in-chief Rahul Shivhshankar and tell him that, boss, this is a very big thing. We need to look into this particular aspect. Why the officers of the Mumbai Police kept on deliberately ignoring it? I don't feel, Rahul, that they are unprofessional police officers, that they don't know the importance of a particular evidence. They know it very well. The reason
they know
which
it very
we
well, viewers, they know it very well, but the point is, someone is perhaps pressuring them. That's what Priyank Tripathi is saying. He's alluding to it. We are responsible here. We don't want to jump to any conclusions, but there's something wrong, something drastically wrong. Dr. Sumant Singh Rajput, where do you step in on this?
You don't have
Names, you don't have motives, you don't have any definite direct evidence enough even to mention those names on television. And this is the, I don't know.
Motive has been stated in numerous WhatsApps. No, don't. 1 minute. Dr. Sumant Singh Rajput.
Jump to conclusions.
I don't understand. Listen to me.
Anybody.
Okay, listen to me. The motive has been stated not by me. Listen to me. By the family.
Why don't you state it?
Arey bhai, am I the family? Did I speak to? Listen,
Rahul.
don't try to today. Once again, you see, this is the brigade, viewers. that tries to say Ishkaran Bhandari also joined. This is the same brigade. I've been telling you, viewers, this same brigade will try to question what is now black and white evidence there on your screens. They will say, oh, why don't you state the motive? Our job is to bring out the facts. It is not to pronounce judgment on the facts. It's to ask the questions that the facts pose. Viewers, one second. Let me, one second. Dr. Sumansi Raman is being too clever by half as usual. I want to bring in Ishkaran Bhandari, who's a lawyer. Ishkaran Bhandari, yes. 1 minute, Ishkaran Bhandari, yes. And I think Shahzad also wants to make a point on that. Yes, 1 second. Ishkaran Bhandari, yes, go ahead.
Rahul, this is too big a news break for us to have usual heckling. It is too big and too momentous a news break for us to have these ridiculous arguments. This was a case where there was not even an FIR. This was a case where there was no interrogation happening. This was a case where we have a thing that you have a room lock. Let us understand criminal law. You have a room lock. There were people in the house who did not feel the urgency. Who knows, maybe Sushant Singh Rajput was having a heart attack. So they don't break the door. They, on a COVID time, find a key maker, wait for the key maker to come. They don't break the door. But when the key maker comes, they don't allow the key maker to step into the room. This, anybody who knows basic criminal law, this entire chain of behavior only at this step, only at the first step, will raise 20 questions and would result in custodial interrogations in a normal case. That is an interrogation after an arrest. Then what you show today, the news break, and I call it a monumentous news break, because I have been having people saying, why do you think it's foul play? Your channel has had those allegations. If pages from diary were torn, that is not only destruction of evidence, that is conspiracy of the main crime itself, because you are acting in concert with those people who did this main crime.
Dr. Sumansi Raman, how do you respond now?
Are these
legal points
not being admitted?
Rahul, when you remember when we had the Sashi Tharoor case going on, nobody had a problem with naming Sashi Tharoor. Every night we used to have debate about how...
in case you forgot, that's because, in case you forgot, because the police reports did that themselves. We were only quoting police reports. Excuse me, sir. The police reports were being quoted. You know that there were... you know that there was a whole group of journalists sympathetic to Sunanda Pushkar who had spoken with her. There were individuals that form an integral part of the Latian circuit that had taken to TV to say how a member of parliament had been traumatizing her. I don't want to get into all of that. You see, you're only...
And Rahul,
I'm only asking,
the point is,
you don't have a name, you don't have a motive. And
the motive has been given by the family. The motive was spelled out in February, viewers, by the family who apprehended that day. Because Sushant Singh Rajput was telling his family, and Sushant Singh Rajput was right. And you know what they did? You know what they did, viewers? They said Sushant Singh Rajput was a failed film star getting no TV offers, no film offers. Now, let me show you something. We had a conversation, viewers, on the CDR records that we have accessed. Now, viewers, we corroborated this. We asked Mr. Taroni and Mr. Advani. Both of them said, yes, we narrated a script. There was a film in the offing. BJP spokesperson Shweta Shalini is here. So first they discredited him, Sushant Singh Rajput, said he was a lousy actor, not getting any scripts. Then they said that because of that, he was depressed. And because of that, you see, he had harbored certain desperate tendencies. Then they said that, look, at the end of the day, he withdrew from Bollywood totally. He was so disillusioned. He didn't want to talk to anybody. All of this now is being exposed as fake propaganda.
So, Rahul, first and foremost, you and Priyank, I must congratulate you for this.
Priyank deserves all the praise.
Great investigative journalism. Now, let me tell you that people on the chair and in power today forget that this is the era of technology and social media. So a lot cannot be destroyed and everything can be and eventually will be transparent. So just to go one step back, there were 6 diaries that Sushant talked about in his Instagram post. Now, give me 1 minute. I will tell you. One was called Dreams. The second was called Sushant, which was his own personal thing. The third was called SSR, which was the star Sushant. Then fourth was called bioreplicator, which was his experiment with science. The fifth was called inside, and the sixth was called protein. Now, if you go back and see the first statement of the DCP, he said that we have recovered 5 diaries. It was later said that inside, which was the diary that was basically according to his company that he formed with Ria, was carried away by Ria. Later, when the diaries were logged, they logged just 4 diaries. I don't know which diary you have found, but trust me, I heard Subramanian Swamy ji talking about,
well, Ms. Shalini, let me tell you, the diary we found was important enough for people to rip out pages from it. Shahzad Poonawalla, what does that tell you? Shahzad Poonawalla, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? Yes, Ishkaran Bhandari also with us, and I also want to bring in, Chandni Shah on this. Yes, Shahzad Poonawalla.
Rahul, I just want to make this point. The WhatsApp information was given that Sushant's life was under threat, and the people who are responsible were also named. No action taken. Mumbai Police has now messed up in this diary case also. Clearly, the Mumbai Police is trying to hide something. And what will the Mumbai Police? Nobody is raising question on Mumbai Police. The political pressure on Mumbai Police. Yes. And who can apply that pressure? Only the political masters. And therefore, the conclusion is that Mumbai Police is trying to save a very big name. Otherwise, they would not go through all this to resist a CBI probe.
Well, that's you hit the nail
being defended.
As usual on the head. 1 minute. Let me bring in Chandni Shah. Chandni Shah, what do you make of this evidentiary value you think has been destroyed? Would you go to that extent?
Hi Rahul, I would definitely say that this thing has been dubious from the start. The recovery of the evidence that the pages have been torn definitely shows that someone wanted to hide something.
Okay.
I also want to add over here something which is from the forensic point of the view. If you see the dead body of Sushant, all right, there is a.
No, I don't want to get into that. No, I don't want to get into that. That's too graphic. Okay. I don't want to get into that. We can't be sitting here and playing, home doctor, etc., etc. I don't want to get into that. But I think the point that you're making about evidentiary value of the diary is very, very important. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. I just want to very quickly go across to our viewers. Arun Kumar calling in from Hyderabad. Good evening, sir. And Shiva calling in from Dehradun first. Arun Kumar, yes, go ahead, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, Rahul Shivhshankar. I have a point here to mention.
Yes, sir.
One of your close one is inside of the room. You don't know whether he died or he did what. Actually, when you call a lockbreaker, what is your anxiety to see what's happened inside? If you have one more person, that person will help you. Instead of you planning that person to be sent out, and already you know something. What's
absolutely.
Inside.
Arun Kumar, so one of our viewers, also saying something is not adding up. Let me quickly bring in Shiva. Mr. Shiva, good evening. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, Rahul.
Good evening, sir.
I'm Shiva. So, first of all, congratulations for
thank you
to your colleague for finding such a crucial evidence.
Priyank, yes.
So, I want to make one point which is going viral all over the internet, and it is definitely true. But I won't name the person. It was he was linked to Jia Khan's case as well, and he was found in a video clipping outside Sushant's house on 14 June, hiding his face from camera.
Okay. And, well, Shiva, this is a delicate issue because, we are talking about an individual. While you're not naming him, we all know who he is. So let's not get into it. But you do believe, on the face of it, that the diary points to something. Yes.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Yes, of course. Another viewer. I just want to bring in Aljo Joseph, lead Congress lawyer who represents the inner circle of the Congress party. Aljo Joseph, yes. Tell me, what do you make of this, sir?
Rahul, first of all, I just wanted to ask a clarification from you. You are saying that the last pages of the diary has been ripped off, and your crime reporter Prayang was saying that the first pages of the diary. I think this issue you need to clarify first, because
you want to hear the sting again. Let me just play it out again. Let's play it out. What does he say? आखिरी के pages. पहले नाम है, उसके आगे के pages गायब हैं. Let's play it out again. So Aljo Joseph, the Congress-linked lawyer who wants to obviously defend the Shiv Sena. Let me just play it out. Aljo Joseph, pay attention. Pay attention, Mr. Joseph. Just pay attention, please. I'm not going to say anything.
Listen, lawyer. I'm sorry.
Listen. Play it out. 30 seconds. Play it out. Let him hear.
नाही सर एक नाव आहे आणि नावाच्या नंतर पानामध्ये हे नाव आहे काय
There you go. There is a name, and after that, everything has been torn off. No front, no back, no upside down, no middle, nothing. It's the last pages gone. Priyank, last page is gone, some of them.
Yes, Rahul, and in the front page, the name of Sushant Singh Rajput is written by himself, which clearly shows that this was a diary which was used by him. What is more shocking that till now, there is no response which has come out from the Maharashtra police. Till yesterday, they were very keen on putting their points on social media and talking about it, or calling our crime correspondents right here in the city of Mumbai. Because whenever we broke the story, I just saw our colleagues receiving call from the Mumbai Police headquarters regarding the clarification. Where are they? So that is the big question which we need to ask. That if they can come
big investigation. Priyank Tripathi, congratulations, breaking a massive story tonight. Massive story, throws open all the questions, throws open a challenge to all the doubters now to come up with answers. Mumbai Police, you have a problem. You have a problem on your hands. You need to come up with a statement. The Uddhav Thackeray government needs to come out and clarify why it blocked CBI. Mr. Chauhan, I'm terribly sorry. I've run out of time on this debate. So many panelists, but we respect your time. Thank you for staying on with us. We'll take you in the next show. Thank you very much.